Hey there, friends and enemies. JoPaWrites here again. It's Thursday, so we've got another TWAB to go over, and I can't wait. There's been so much news on changes coming to Lightfall from Bungie that I just don't even know what they're going to talk about next, and that has me very excited. If you missed it yesterday, I went over the mod changes in a full video. I'm also going to have a list of weapons that I think are going to be tremendous with the champion changes to how abilities work once Lightfall does hit as well. So that'll be tomorrow. Definitely subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, because I'm going to be covering all of this information in detail. Now, jumping into the TWAB, we're talking about sandbox news, matchmaking, and getting amped up for Neptune. There was also a video on Neptune and the new location, Niamura, that I reacted to as well, so definitely check that out also. So, a brief recap of the blog post. That's what I went over in the video from yesterday, so definitely check that out. Friendly reminder from our player security team: some people whose accounts were banned have said they don't remember cheating. Anytime we investigate these cases, both in recent and in the past, we often find that they gave their account to someone else to play. So we've seen an uptick on people claiming on Twitter and Reddit that they have had their accounts banned, but apparently there's been a lot of account sharing, and that's a major problem and a reason why people are getting banned. Keep that in mind. They also said that the losing of characters, that's been a widespread concern from a lot of people, is a non-issue at this point, and they've recovered everything that anybody has lost inadvertently. So if you've lost something, definitely send a help ticket, but that doesn't seem to be a major concern at this point. Get in, we're going to Niamura. This is the video that I reacted to already. It's very good. I definitely recommend checking that out. Bob the Guardian Builder and evolution of build crafting. So what are we talking about recently is loadouts, consolidate. That's their main point there. Champions, that's what I'm going to have the video on tomorrow. I also talked about it in the video from yesterday. Reduction in pressure of armor energy, how build crafting is changing because match game is gone, huge. Rumble returns, catalysts are changing, exotic glade goodness, and more. Massive. So they increased the red border drop rates on raids and dungeons. If you missed that, definitely check that out, because that's a massive change, especially with the revamped Deepstone Crypt weapons that are craftable and have the new origin trait. So definitely get to grinding if you haven't already, because those weapons are going to be very valuable going forward. Faster dredging, title gilding, bye blues. That's, oh my god, that's massive. At soft cap, starting in next week's patch. So that's happening soon. After you reach soft cap, blue engrams will stop dropping in the world. If they do continue to drop, it looks like you're going to want to report it. Yeah, but so they're going to give you a plus 25% for the gunsmith, and also additional glimmer baubles will spray out instead. I mean, that's massive. I think that's huge. Blues have been clogging the inventory for far too long. Great. In response to players' feedback, bring back Rumble. I don't play Rumble personally, but I know a lot of people love it as a permanent fixture and remove it as a rotator in the next patch. So that's next week as well. Huge. Year 3 Catalyst Evolution, Catalyst Quest for Season Pass exotics will now benefit from Season Pass boosts like other exotic Catalyst quests. That's also important. If you haven't done those already, definitely do. Symmetry is underrated in my opinion. Tommy's Matchbook is a lot of fun, and Wither Horde is just one of the best weapons in the game. And I think Ariana's Vow is also fantastic, especially for barrier champions. Glaive crafting for easier exotic glaive crafting. That's huge. Did you know? Yeah, so if you don't have all of the exotic glaives, you can get them much easier now by purchasing them from the evidence board. Okay. So the new raid is going to be on March 10th, second Friday in March at noon Eastern, 12 or 9 a.m. Pacific. So Friday is going to make people upset. For me personally, I'd rather it go smoothly than worry about that. I can be available for the raid, so I'm not too terribly concerned, but I know some people are worried about it. Experimented a lot with various matchmaking tools through the years to help make PvP more enjoyable. We've got the Destiny 2 Rituals team here. So they want to make it accessible and fair activity for all players. A lot of people say that's casualizing the game mode, making it more for casual friendly. But I think that's important, especially this late in the game. You need the casuals there in order to have healthy playlists, in my personal opinion. So they added Fireteam Matchmaking, which is A good thing in the long run, I would rather fire team matchmaking, and then expand the pool over like time. Like if you don't find a game within 15 seconds, expand the pool, expand the pool, expand the pool. So that way we don't have too many nodes. So if you get rid of the freelance nodes, everyone's in one place. You'll have you're more likely to match up against solos, but you'll still find matches relatively quickly, which I think is important. Especially if you're in a group of and you're playing sixes and you're in a group of 2 or 3, that's where this is going to probably be significantly more helpful. As we've gotten sufficient data from players and from internal systems, we'll extend the fire team matchmaking feature to trials and eventually competitive 3v3. Dynamic skill matchmaking. As mentioned, this feature is geared towards improving matchmaking if you're in a low population skill bracket. That's important. I know a lot of top end people have been complaining about the matchmaking lately, so if they can fix that as well. We are aware of the current status of matchmaking, and we will continually work towards improving our features and systems. We believe we are on the right track. A lot of people will disagree with it, but as a casual player, and this is where a major difference may come down, because the matchmaking and the connections have not been a major issue on console. I play on PS5 compared to PC from everything that I've seen. So that's where some of the disconnect can be with certain players. Like I haven't had an issue playing all season, and I know a lot of PC friends have had major issues. So that might be where that kind of falls in line. Match outcome prediction. We use a particular algorithm that considers multiple variables to predict the outcome of a given match. 50% prediction accuracy is considered ideal. So basically, every game should be a toss-up is the goal. Obviously, that's going to be impossible. No game can truly be a toss-up all the time. But the drop in accuracy is a strong indicator that the current implementation of skill-based matchmaking is heading in the right direction. So it's getting closer to 50%, down from almost 67%, it looks like. Which is kind of wild that it's that much of a difference. So the matches are becoming even more even, but you're still going to have some outliers, right? So another graph displays our prediction accuracy for glory and competitive. I still think glory and competitive should be ranked based instead of skill based, but that's just me personally. So still strong discrepancy between the main node and freelance. This shows it's more difficult to produce fair matches with fire teams due to immeasurable advantages like communication, team composition, team synergy, etc. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, the difference, oh my god, it's almost 75% different compared to 58-ish, almost 60. Okay, hopefully this provides some insight. I know a lot of people are not going to agree, but I believe that they're kind of working towards a system that could be good. And everyone's not going to always benefit, but I think trying to encourage casual and hardcore players to play as much as possible is necessary. Airborne effectiveness, another pain point for PvP players. So, introduce AE to give us levers to balance weapon effectiveness while airborne in a consistent and comprehensive way. We did this in preparation for Sandbox that is introducing more airborne gameplay options, particularly with the strand subclasses in Lightfall. So they did this in advance to kind of work through the pain points of the system before a strand drops, which I think is a good idea, but I know a lot of people are not thrilled about it. Important to balance the increasing number of airborne movement options against the combat effectiveness. We don't want it to be exclusively or excessively airborne gunplay over time. In a game mode where most modes did not have SBMM, players using airborne playstyle could be extremely impressive. Yeah, lower skilled players have a much harder time dealing with airborne players, so that makes a lot of sense. Second, has become less relevant because of SBMM. Despite achieving our goals, the cost of player fun was too high. So playtesting changes, which is airborne effectiveness affects the following aspects of weapons: auto aim, precision, angle, threshold, magnetism, accuracy, spread angle. You can expect primary weapon with no investment to be as accurate, i.e. shoot just as straight, as a primary weapon with Icarus grip mod equipped did before the introduction of A. So primary should be very, very good in the air. Auto aim angle is also significantly improved. Instead of relying on accuracy and aim assist penalties, we're requiring more precision to land crits while airborne. This means your guns will behave more like they do when grounded, except you must aim right at the head to get a gunshot unless you really build for airborne gameplay. One side effect has changed is that airborne gameplay on controllers should feel better, which is huge. We still don't want it to be too easy to build an AE, so the penalty remains on snipers and shotguns. In playtesting, this makes baseline airborne gunplay feel substantially better. Primary weapons, you got aim assist, reduce airborne accuracy penalty for our primaries. Special weapons, reduce the base airborne accuracy penalty by 50% for sniper and slug shotguns, and then pellet shotguns fully removed the penalty. So, that interesting. SMGs have long been heavily dependent on the range stat to be competitive. SMGs have a high range stat, easily outclass any other SMGs. So, as such, we made a large improvement to SMG performance at lower range values, combined with a small decrease to higher range values. Increased damage and aim assist fall off, and reduced damage and aim assist fall off, start at 100 range. So it's basically they're just making it better for close range. Adaptive SMGs lag behind lightweights in effectiveness, dealing more body shot damage but less critical hit damage. Despite sharing the same rate of fire, to we increased their critical hit modifier. That's good. I think that's huge. So increased critical hit multiplier 1.44 to 1.5. Crit damage goes from 16.2 to 16.9. Doesn't seem like a lot, but it could be good. Inadvertently skipped Forensic Nightmare when we adjusted the zoom of other SMGs, so we're correcting that. Increased the zoom from 13 to 14. So they're changing pulse rifles, which is huge. They've been really dominant, especially on M Key. I haven't seen them dominate as much on console, but it's just like DMT, I think console, the meta is going to be a bit different. They're still very, very good. Reduce aim assist fall off, reduce damage fall off, increase recoil by 20% on M Key only. BRX has been nerfed as well, it looks like. Reduce the zoom. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. So the fantasy of the gun fit better with the CQB, hipfire, aggressive playstyle. So they basically made it more of a close range option. Sidearm aim assist fall off buff had the desired effect. Oh, but they're reducing the aim assist fall off from 30 to 20%. So that's good. Sidearm should be very, very good close range, but not as dominant at long range. So I think that's a good idea. So Dead Messenger can be oppressive to play against. I haven't noticed that too much, but reduce wave splash damage against players by 35%. Huge. DMT is getting nerfed as well. So they removed the damage penalty for 5 stacks of cranial spike. Reduce hipfire and airborne aim assist cone angles. Reduce hipfire cone angle. Reduce hipfire precision aim. Okay, so they basically just really nerfed DMT, which I think is important because it's had such a problem. Revoker is also getting nerfed, and so the reversal of fortune perk now triggers after 2 misses within 6 seconds. So you can't spam shoot it and get your all of your shots back. So basically, you have to fire both of your bullets in order to get one back, and miss both of them in order to get one back. So I think that's a good change. I think Revoker is a bygone weapon that should be left in the past, personally. But come Lightfall, heavy weapon balance pass, including subclass 3.0 verbs. So like things like incandescent and that kind of stuff. To several exotic weapons, tuning kinetic weapons, and adding a new perk to make kinetic weapons feel more valuable. That's important, with stasis weapons being better than them with the changes to how champions work. So I think adjusting kinetic weapons is huge, especially when you're talking about builds that really benefit from subclass matching. So for example, if you have a void weapon with a void build, you can rock volatile rounds. You can't do that unless you have osmosis on your kinetic. So in order to kind of make your build better, adding a new perk will be huge. More substantial changes to weapon hipfire reticles. Full auto immediately selling as a Titan, that makes me happy. Another set of craftable reprised raid weapons with an origin trait, similar to Deep Zone Crypt, with the bonus drop rates, which is huge. Regular, seasonal, and mid-season balance updates and more. Citons is also getting nerfed, so increase the cooldown of barricade with Citons equipped by 70%. Increase the amount of damage players deal to Citons by 25%. So yeah, that thing's going to be much less used in PvP in my opinion. So again, spamming of the Citons is going to go down for sure. Abilities in patch 6.3.0.5. So January 24th, that's next week. So ability changes are coming next week. Towering Barricade, increased cooldown. Rally Barricade, increased cooldown. Thruster, base cooldown increased. Dodge, Marksman, and Gamblers both increased as well. Again, this should help with the ability spam, because a lot of times your barricade or your dodge is the catalyst for getting your other abilities back faster. Some people will say dodge is not that broken. I disagree because I feel like it is, in a lot of times, the catalyst for using a exotic in order to get your other abilities back, to get volatile, to whatever the case may be. It buffs you all the time. So I think you can heal if you use Worm Husk. There's just a lot of reasons to keep that from being too oppressive for sure. They're nerfing Storm Grenades. I thought they were going to nerf Heart of Inmost Light, but this is also important, I think. So, remove stability and confliction shotgun pellets penalties while sliding. That's going to make a lot of slide shotgunners happy. I think that's good. So here we go. Lunar New Year. If you missed it, definitely pick this up from Test because it's really, really cool. You'll get free bite dust as well if you missed that, if you haven't grabbed it from Test already as well. Older Prime loot is expiring. These are pretty cool. I like these images. Yeah, overall, I think good changes, right? So here's a bunch of other stuff. Yeah, your standard end of TWAB information. So, they do have a new, okay, this is one thing I want to talk about. They have a new Destiny 2 team Twitter to use. Instead of going to your CMs, go right to that. That's obviously massive. So anyway, my name is JoPa. I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know what you guys think of the changes down below. Overall, I think they're great. No blues, huge. Some of the ability balancing, good. Some of the exotics that were overtuned getting dropped back down, I think is massive. And overall, I'm excited about the changes. I think we're going to see a very fresh game once Lightfall hits, and that'll at least keep people interested for quite a bit of time. Builds are going to have to be completely reworked and a lot of changes there, but I'm excited about it personally. There's going to be a lot of content to cover. So my name is JoPa. I hope you enjoyed the video. Subscribe to the channel. Again, like I said, I'll repeat myself 100 times, but what are you doing if you're not subscribed? I hope you have a good one, and I'll catch y'all later.